Thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. The World Seed, a string of numbers that sets in motion the creation of a Terrarian world. Determining its difficulty, its evil, the size of it, and ultimately, what it's going to look like. For the first decade or so of the game's release, this worked exactly as one would expect. That was until 2020, when a couple of Easter egg seeds were introduced into the game, where, if a world was created with a specific seed, it would look, well, a bit different. In time, these increased in number and became known as secret seeds, and then were renamed to special seeds because some even more secret seeds were added. But that's maybe for another video. Anyway, now, 5 years later, the system's been formalized, more seeds have been added, and crucially, special seeds can now be combined and played on the same world. Now, you can't just mix 2 or even 3 together. You can actually now load a world with every single one. What will this world look like, and can it even be beaten? Well, in this video, that's what we're going to find out, as we try to beat Terraria on every single secret seed, all at once. Okay, so we've spawned in the Underworld, which makes sense, given the Don't Dig Up seed. We've also got Hunger, which is from the Don't Starve seed. Okay, and we're spawned with the Tax Collector, which I believe is also from Don't Dig Up. So these are ash blocks, and we've got a Solidifier, which gives us access to the slime furniture set. Okay, so just off the bat, it seems like our Tax Collector's very strong. Lava slimes also aren't dropping lava, which is good. And I can also see we've got some special drops. So I do wonder if the rates have been increased for Skyblock.
Goal 1 then is going to be killing slimes and getting a base going.
And the top initial priority is getting the merchant to spawn, the rope and potions he sells. Now, a change in 1.4.5 is NPCs no longer require a valid house to spawn. So all we need for a visit from the merchant is 50 silver.
So if we get a few NPCs to spawn rates here should drop, which will make any next steps easier. I haven't seen any of the other unique slime drops yet, like seeds and acorns, I think are ones we know of. My guess is we'll find these slimes in different layers, but we'll see. Maybe they're just rare. This island I'm pretty sure is our only one, so everything we need, and everywhere we'll need to get, we have to build from here. The guide now would also be useful, as we've also seen from spoilers. They're now slime-related weapons, I think a spear and maybe a whip, which would be useful now. I think what I'm going to do next is bridge up and get to the cave-in layer here, which, remember, as we're playing the Don't Dig Up seed, will be in fact the surface layer, so hopefully will give us surface slimes. The hunger mechanic from the Don't Starve seed hasn't caused us many problems yet, mostly because I haven't been alive long enough for it to matter. But that's a part of the Don't Starve seed that we do have to worry about now. Essentially, darkness kills us. And as you see that, I think that was a green slime. Green slimes only really spawn on the surface. Perfect. Okay, so I think the next move here is going to be making some kind of setup here and then kill green slimes, who I'm hoping some will drop stuff like seeds and acorns. We still need to figure out how to get dirt though. I highly doubt it's post-dryad. Interesting, okay. So we can't seem to craft the slime weapons. I guess they're drops then? Ooh, well we've got a merchant, just not the one we wanted. And a mimic as well, that's from the Zenith seed I think. They don't have hard mode drops, but they do contain useful stuff, I think like Cloud in a Bottle and Hermes boots. Shame he got away. Okay, let's get to you before we die. Okay, looking back on the footage, Dynasty Wood was his only useful item there I think. It can't be used to craft stuff as a replacement for wood, but you can make a cup and hence a potion crafting table, so it should come in useful later.
After adding another room to my house, I got the merchant I wanted.
Perfect. Okay, I don't think we need an anvil yet. I think if we get a piggy bank here, just to save some cash and store more stuff, that's probably our best move.
Piggy bank in hand, I made my way back up to the surface, where I made an important discovery.
I think that slime's got a stone in it. Oh, it does, perfect. So I'm guessing that means they're also dirt slimes. I assume they're just quite uncommon. Okay, so I've just been farming some more gel before heading back to the surface, and I noticed this. So it turns out the slime weapons aren't dropped and are crafted just from slime directly and not slime blocks. That's perfect. Okay, let's try and get some sort of rudimentary farm set up,
as we should now be able to make use of the extra range the spear gives us here.
very nice, I'll take that.
With my newly found riches, I purchased a mining helmet, which is a great buy for us, as long as we have it on, the light it provides prevents us from dying from darkness. With my new hat, I headed back up to the farm, in the search of ore, more stone, and hopefully dirt. That, I believe, is a dirt slime. Oh, and we got wood. Is there a wood slime there? No, looking back at the bush, it looks like the zombie dropped it.
So we can get wood, dirt, and stone from slimes here. I haven't seen a seed or an acorn slime yet, but maybe you get those on a different level. So a big craft we can make straight off the bat is a furnace, which I'm glad isn't post-dryad. Okay. I think I'm going to go for a hammer now, just to set up some hoigs for our farm. So I've come back to spawn as I've starved to death. I've got another mimic. Okay, let's try and get this one. I'll take that, not the drop I wanted, but... So we've got a decent amount of wood, stone, and dirt now. I'm now pretty much assuming that the seed and acorn and other slimes must spawn on a different level, or if they don't, are just very rare. Okay, so I think we've got all we really want from slimes on this level. So my plan now is to keep heading up and see, well, what happens really. Top priorities now, I think, are water. It was spoiled that there was going to be some kind of flooding mechanic added to the game, so my guess is that's how we're getting water. Another thing I'm keen to find out about is life crystals. In an old Skyblock map, the only way you could get these was from fishing up golden crates, which was a really, really long grind. I think it's pretty unlikely that's the only way to get them on this map. I mean, it could be, but that would be a bit mean, I think. My guess is they've added some sort of crafting recipe to get them, or maybe each boss drops one that would tie it nicely to progression. But we'll see.
But before we see, a quick word from this video's sponsor. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game out there, and it's free on PC, consoles, and mobile. Manned over 2,500 authentic vehicles, from 1920s biplanes to modern main battle tanks. The game's realism is industry leading, with hyper-detailed models and a damage system that ditches health bars for actual physics. Best of all, it's heavily optimized to run smoothly with high frame rates, even on older hardware. You don't need any special gear to play. A mouse and keyboard, or controller, is all you need, even in simulator mode. A personal recommendation of mine is realistic mode. This strikes a good balance between high intensity gameplay, but also authenticity. So join 95 million other players and start playing now for free by clicking one of the links in the description. And upon registering with a new account, or with an account that hasn't played in the last 6 months, to receive a free bonus pack on PC or console after you log in.
Okay, so that's the underground layer. And this is the surface. Let's set up a little farm here then, and see what we get. Aha, there's our acorn slime. So my guess is seed slime spawn here as well. I feel that would just make sense conceptually. And there is a seed slime. Nice. This looks like it's got blue seeds though. Oh yeah, mushroom grass. Interesting. I wonder if there's also jungle seed slimes then. That would make a big difference. I think that's just a normal grass seed slime. Yeah, nice. Ah, nice. Bombs are actually super useful on a skyblock, as they allow us to get a renewable source of dirt, but I'll get more into that later. Ooh, those look a bit paler. Aha, they do drop jungle seeds. Nice. I mean, that saves a huge amount of time. So I've been doing this for about half an hour. I've been skipping nights, and this is what I've got. A decent amount of grass seeds, plus a single jungle and mushroom grass seeds, which I guess must be rarer. So it seems to look like each level of the underworld, surface, caverns, and underground has their own unique slime drops. We farmed in the underworld, caverns, and surface, leaving just the underground to explore. So that's going to be our next step. I think that's a marble slime. That's okay, so we can make a marble biome. And a granite slime. Perfect. Not sure if there's much useful to us there, although gladiator armor does have no knockback, so that's pretty unique.
A few minutes later, I found something a lot more useful. That slime's got a heart in it. Interesting though. So that's how we're getting life crystals. I'm curious to see how rare these slimes are then. Feel that's going to be pretty impactful for this run.
Wait, is that a web slime? Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if a Crimson Altar slime showed up. So the last big mystery, at least that concerns us right now, is how exactly to get water. I haven't seen rain yet, and I've been playing a while. I'll have to double check how that works exactly on a normal Zenith seed. Although I am thinking, is fishing even that big of a deal? Pre-hard mode at least. We can get boots and a jump boost from mimics. And as we've seen, we can now get life from slimes. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure I'd rush into fishing. Honestly, it's kind of a nice feeling to play a Skyblock map. It doesn't need like a 10-hour fishing grind to get started. Anyway, so I think the plan now is to grind a few more life crystals here and head to the surface, plant our seeds and get a base set up. And from there, I think go for an Eye of Cthulhu attempt, either from a natural spawn when we reach 200 health, or from managing to craft a spawner somehow. Conveyor belt. Now that is interesting. What's a normal crafting recipe for that then? Oh, so it's sold by the Steampunker, so it's normally hard mode exclusive. So why have they felt the need to give us that then? I guess it's to make pre-hard mode farming easier. So I guess the smart thing to try now would be to try and rig up some sort of semi-automated farm. The only problem being I don't have lava,
which would come in very handy there.
An extractinator drop, that should be very useful later. Oh, and these are new, I think. Okay, so it's a mount. That seems pretty good, actually. A cowbell. Or I think this must be one of the new accessories that changes your damage sounds. Yeah, it is. Nice. I think that's all the drops we want from the mimics then. That's 220 health, so we can now get a natural Eye of Cthulhu spawn. That took around 2 hours in total, so not an insignificant grind, but definitely faster than fishing. Okay, let's get this base set up and start prepping for the eye. Okay, if we put the grass down here, it should spread. Ah, rain monsters are spawning, but I don't see any rain. Let's head to the surface. Aha, so it's raining here. So if we build a container, will it collect it? Doesn't look like it. Can we use our bucket? Can we place it? No. Okay, that's new. So our bucket collects rainwater. But how exactly? If we drop it? No. Maybe we need to be on the surface. Ah, there it is. Must be on some randomized timer, I guess. Okay, so now let's see. Does this still work? Oh, it does. Nice. Is this just the intended mechanic to make a lake then? It feels a bit niche if so. Or maybe there is some kind of flooding which can happen, which is also on a timer. Anyway, we have fishing access now, if we want it. Okay, so I'm going to extend our first biome a bit, which means we need more dirt. As I hinted at, I'm going to use a little trick I've learnt from past Skyblocks. So we can use 25 dirt and a bomb to make a dirt bomb. But now, if we mine it out fully, we get 50 dirt, after only putting 25 dirt in. So we now have an infinite source of blocks, as we can buy bombs from the demolitionist. So that's the arena done. I think the best use of my time, whilst we wait for an Eye of Cthulhu spawn, is to head back to the cave-ins and get some more life crystals. Okay, so I've just realised, I've been wasting my time a bit, as currently, the Eye of Cthulhu won't spawn. It's having 10 defense is a requirement. Okay, let's, well, get 10 defense then. It's a bit hodgepodge, but it gets us there. Something else I'm going to do is make a bed, which is now possible due to the cobwebs we've got from web slimes. Okay, let's wait for an eye spawn then. Okay, I'm just going to leave a grave here, just to prompt an Abigail spawn. Here we go. Okay, these skates are extremely good. They're actually too fast for the boomerang. Nice. Oh, it just drops the altar. Fair enough. Well, that makes things a lot easier then. So now we've killed the boss, the Dryad can move in. So the next task is going to be making some artificial biomes, who the Dryad, with the seeds she sells, is going to help us with. We can extend our forest and start on some evil biomes. The Dryad isn't as good on a Zenith seed, as in a normal world, we can make a jungle biome by purifying corrupted mud blocks. But for some reason, and I don't know why, but on a Zenith seed, the Dryad doesn't sell purification powder, so we can't do that. I think we'll just have to rely on seed drops from slimes for our jungle biome. Okay, let's start an underground crimson then. I can use the seeds I got from the eye. Nice, and that's the start of our underground jungle. And whilst I'm here, I'm also going to make some underground marble and granite biomes with all the blocks we got from slimes. Nice, I'm seeing spawns for both. And that's the start of a glowing mushroom biome, should we ever need one. Okay, so before we start thinking about the brain of Cthulhu, I'd like to do a blood moon. Now, this has a few good upgrades in terms of weapons and accessories, but that's not the main reason I want one. You see, during a blood moon, the Dryad sells evil seeds, which will allow us to greatly speed up the creation of our artificial crimson biome, and hence get the materials for a brain of Cthulhu spawner. Whilst waiting for a blood moon, I'm going to farm in a marble biome, as I'd like the gladiator set, mainly for its unique and little known bonus of knockback resistance, which is quite a rare and valuable feature in Terraria. Okay, that's full gladiator armor. Now we wait for a blood moon. Okay, it's been a few days. Let's check on our biomes. They're spread pretty well, to be fair. I do wonder if they've upped the speeds in Skyblock worlds. So it's now been 5 days, and no blood moon yet. Let's have another check though. I feel we almost don't need the seeds now, and hence a blood moon, as it's been so long and they've spread so much. Okay, that's been 13 nights dry now. In that time I've added more mud blocks to each biome off camera, only in the horizontal direction though, as biome spread can't jump blocks. Okay, that's a full mushroom biome, and that's a full jungle one as well. Okay, so we're getting spawns at the Crimson. The background hasn't changed yet, but I believe for an evil biome the threshold is higher, about 300 blocks, so that's understandable. Okay, so I'm going to add some more mud here, so we reach the 300 threshold. And either we'll get a crimson biome naturally, via the progression of time, or a blood moon will speed things up for us, from the seeds to Dryad cells. Nothing again. Now I was looking at the map that spread a lot. I reckon that could be 300 now. Not seeing the background change, but maybe that's hard mode only, to be fair. Either way, I think we just have enough now. Okay, so it's taken so long to get a blood moon that we no longer even need the crimson seeds to Dryad cells. So long enough time has passed for the crimson to spread enough naturally. I do wonder if I'm missing something here in terms of a blood moon spawn, but we'll see. Anyway, I guess let's get farming for the brain spawner. Okay, so just before we start grinding for brain spawners, I'm going to get a few small things done first. First, the goblin invasion. We can make a spawner from the spider's webs we got. Over. Interesting. Is this an accessory? No. A permabuff? Doesn't look like it. It's not a material. It feels like something you throw in the shimmer, which would be good if we had it. Okay, well, let's get farming.
That wasn't great.
Did I get hit by a bat there then? Oh no, that's just master mode, isn't it? I forgot they give debuffs, don't they? Okay, well that was poor. I didn't get a single scale. On the bright side, getting spawners is pretty quick. Although potions-wise, it's going to be a bit harder. So I can't craft any, as I've got no sand. And I don't really have the resource to fish properly. Okay, range is working better. Oh, I forgot about this. Yeah, this isn't great. A helmet.
That's fight over, I think.
Well, we've been really properly outplayed by the brain twice now. The gravity should be a fairly easy fix though. The advantage we have now though, is we've now got tissue samples, so we can craft a few upgrades.
So to prevent me from flying untethered into space again after phase 2 starts, a simple fix is just to add a solid block roof to our arena. Perfect.
Okay, the roof worked. Phase 2 didn't go great though. The general strategy for Brain Phase 2
is to try and exploit the brain's main weakness, knockback.
Interestingly, the Brain of Cthulhu is one of the only bosses that does take knockback. So if you can just stay in the center and keep hitting him, you can pretty much avoid all damage if you're quick enough to find the real one.
On my next few attempts, however, despite armor and arrow upgrades, I managed none of these things.
Okay, so the problem we're having on Phase 2 is we don't have enough knockback. Now, ideally in this situation, you'd use a spear, which has high range and even higher knockback, but we don't really have any available to us.
However, according to the wiki at least, the katana is a decent substitute. Now, I've got a katana from a travelling merchant, so I'm going to give that a go.
Okay, so yeah, even a katana with a godly reforge didn't do a good job there. I think that could be down to the For the Worthy changes here, which just make the fight generally harder. So I think I need to just find a spear. One option would be to set up a fishing spot in the Crimson and then grind for the Rotted Fork, but that's going to be a painful option. However, I think there is one other potential option. Now, the one spear we do have access to is the Slime Spear. Now, to be honest, it is a very weak spear, but if it has enough knockback to completely prevent the brain from doing damage, then we could just get through the fight. But yeah, if this doesn't work, then it's going to be a very, very long fishing grind. And I think the Slime Spear is working. Yeah, now my Slime Spear was working.
Until this happened.
Well, okay. Well, if not for the unfortunate end to that fight, we would have beaten it, I think. Let's go again. This is comically slow, but I think it is working. Nice, there we go. Okay, so we've essentially been given the dungeon and kit form. Now I'm wondering, does this mean we just skip the Skeletron fight then? Although, with an artificial dungeon usually, the Dungeon Guardian still spawns if you're pre-Skeletron, plus bones can't drop, so I think a Skeletron skip is very unlikely. So that leaves the question, how do we get the old man? On old Skyblock maps, we'd have to bridge out and find the dungeon spawn point, the point where the old man would have spawned if he was on the same seed in a normal world, but this isn't a normal world, so I don't think that would work. Also, that was just very tedious and time consuming, so I think it's a pretty unlikely solution, given how much quality of life stuff they've added so far. My first guess then is the old man just shows up, either as a town NPC or just at base, but we'll see. As I slept and rather optimistically awaited an old man spawn, my sleep was interrupted by something. A meteor shower, that's new. I'm guessing this is Skyblock's alternative to a crash site then. Let's have a look. something with Meteor I'm quite excited to try out. It's the new Phase Sabers. Now, obviously we've got Meteor, and I'm guessing we can get gems from gem critters, or even geodes from granite elementals. No old man there. Might have to go back to the drawing board with that. So whilst I think about how to find the old man, let's try and get some gems for a Phase Saber. And I think the best way to go about this is it's going to be farming granite elementals for their 5% geode drop. Ooh, we can get the rainbow one. Let's go for that. So we can now throw it. Oh, that's cool. Also 6 in the ground. Very nice. Okay, so still no old man spawn. I think what I'm going to do now is just build a dungeon and see what happens. We've got the old man. So yeah, I was just starting the dungeon build. I placed these blocks down and he just spawned. So I guess his requirement was just the dungeon bricks, or maybe it's something to do with the surface. Anyway, we've got him now, so that's good. Let's set up an arena and let's try Skeletron. That went better than I was expecting. We almost got to phase 2 there. You know, I think a big part of that is these roller skates. I mean, I don't think pre 1.4.5 I could have outrun Skeletron horizontally like that. I do like how it's constant night here, we can get constant attempts, so there's no downtime for the next Skeletron attempt. Now, I'm a bit rusty at stage 2. So I think the strategy here is to run straight whilst he's spinning, and then duck and dive whilst he's shooting skulls. We have so much space here that casters aren't really a problem. That's a bad roll for the heal there. We probably won't get it this time. Although, if he stays spinning... Nice. Huh, is that it then? Oh, and he's dropped a Hellforge, okay. So we can spell Hellstone then, and Hardmode ores. Nice. So I'm guessing that means Slime's drop Hellstone now, but we'll see. Okay, so what next? I could complete my artificial dungeon, but the thing is, most of the stuff I'd want from there, a cobalt shield and maybe a shadow key, I'd have to get by making a fishing area and then going for stockade crates, which I kinda don't want to do. At least not right now, it's just very time consuming. So in terms of drops pre-hard mode, nothing really excites me too much there. So I think it's a question really of, I want to get Necro Armor, which I don't think I will. My plan for Wall of Flesh is to get a Demon Scythe and then go for a Mage build. So yeah, I'll skip the dungeon for now, I think. I think the plan now then is to go to the Underworld and do some exploring there, as that's the only place really we haven't properly been yet. My main goal is to get a Demon Scythe and a Guide Voodoo Doll. Something big though we're still missing is lava, as lava slimes don't drop it on this seed, which I think is, well, quite crucial for the run. No hell enemies are spawning yet, I'm still just getting slimes. So I've been reading the wiki, and on the Don't Dig Up seed at least, which the Zenith seed borrows from, it says this: lava slimes spawn in the middle 24% of the world. So I guess it's just a case of building out further then.
Okay, I reckon that's about it now.
Ah, right on cue. Ah, so that's where our lava's coming from then. Nice. Now, the other reason why I wanted lava so much was for obsidian. Firstly, to use it to make Hellstone armor. Lava slimes do drop Hellstone, by the way. I'm not sure if I got that on camera. But secondly, and perhaps most importantly, to make glass. As if you recall, we we got an extractinator from a lava slime, and if we put obsidian in it, we get sand. And with sand, we can make a bottle. And if we fill that with water, we can make potions, which will be crucial for future boss fights, especially on the seed we're playing. So I'm pretty happy with our armor and weapons. So I think it's now time to start preparing for the Wall of Flesh. And, well, I've got a strategy in mind. I don't think that was fall damage. Ah, so they've made it so you can't run along the world floor anymore. Well, let's put a spanner in the works for our plan. Just for reference, in previous Skyblocks, the way I've dealt with the Wall of Flesh is to fight it whilst running along the world floor. This is good for two reasons. Firstly, well, it means you don't have to spend ages building a bridge, which, with the Underworld enemy spawns, isn't much fun at all. And secondly, monsters couldn't spawn on the world floor, which is not just good to avoid normal spawns, but especially good in For the Worthy, as the Wall of Flesh spawns imps during the fight. Doing the fight on the world floor, however, prevented this. Okay, well, it looks like we're back to the drawing board then. Okay, so after a bit of thinking, I think it's still beneficial for us to be as close to the world surface as possible. The main reason for this is the hungry can't really reach you down here, thus you have much more time to dodge any lasers fired your way. Now, so is the plan just to build a bridge down here? Well, not quite. You see, something that pretty much achieves all we had from running along the world floor is building a minecart track. These don't count as blocks, so imps won't be able to spawn on them. Plus, the speed you get on it is more than enough to deal with the Wall of Flesh. Now, another benefit to minecart tracks is they're very cheap to make. A few bits of wood and a few iron bars gets me 50. From the slimes I've killed, I should have more than enough to cover the entire world. Perfect. So that's the track setup, or at least part of it. As I mentioned, my weapon of choice for this fight is going to be the Demon Scythe. The reason for this is the way its projectile moves just lends itself well to this strategy. If you get your positioning right, the scythe's projectiles will turn upwards just at the right point, hitting the wall's eyes for a decent amount of damage. Yeah, that does keep happening. Okay, let's give it a go. You can see how much of a pain the imps are. The way some players deal with them is to find an imp statue and then farm it for banners. But I don't know if it even is possible to get an imp statue on this world. I can use my sword to block projectiles there, which is pretty neat. Perfect, there it is. Okay, let's give this a go then. I really can't seem to get many hits in. Yeah, this isn't going to plan. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there. I just couldn't seem to damage the eyes wherever I positioned myself, which is strange because the same exact strategy has worked for me before. Maybe the minecart track changes things, or maybe it's the fact we're now a few blocks above the world floor. Anyway, what I'm going to try and do, I think, is to move the minecart track up a bit. At the very least, this will get us closer to the eyes, so should hopefully makes things easier. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a problem if this whole strategy just doesn't work. Alongside moving the track up, I also opted to make it a bit longer, which led to a very consequential discovery. Oh wait, there are blocks there. There's a second island? I think that's Shimmer. Yeah, okay, we have a Shimmer Island. Well, I guess it's good we've found that now then. I don't think it completely changes the run, at least not right now. Just off the top of my head, it will make getting sand easier. And Shimmer Ambles for iron. Yeah, I think potion-wise, this is a big help. Okay, well, it's a good find, but I do wonder why they felt the need to give us that. Guess we'll see as we progress through the run. With my shiny new minecart track and liquid, I began my second attempt. Nice, that's working well. However, the attempt was once again ended due to construction issues. Yeah, if I'd made the bridge a bit longer, I think we would have got it there. Attempt 3 was going well. I'd got the wall to below 1000 health. However, instead of a problem with my minecart track, I was now facing something a bit more concerning.
He's going too fast. Yeah, I can't do anything here. My scythe just won't get a hit.
So I think the problem we have here is the wall is just getting too fast in his final phase. I think I've got an idea to rectify that, and it doesn't involve more speed on our side. So I think it was around here he got to the final phase last time. So if we move this part of the track up, then we can do the final part of the fight with our bow whilst facing him, so we can get hits in. Perfect. That's done the job nicely. Okay, so hard mode. My guess is slimes will start dropping hard mode ore now. Although, from the lava slimes I've killed, they still seem to be dropping hellstone. Maybe you have to do something first to trigger drops? Anyway, I'm not actually too concerned about hard mode ore, because I plan to skip it. Now, this might seem a bit unwise, given my next opponent is Mech Juicer, a Zenith seed exclusive, seen by many as the hardest challenge of the seed. So why am I attempting Mech Juicer in molten armor? Well, you see, the boss is technically one, but made of 3 parts. And crucially, if you take down one part, say the twins, their treasure bag will drop mid-fight, not at the end. This means, if we can take down one of the 3, we can get hallowed gear. Then we'll use that hallowed gear, plus the extra health, as life fruits only require one mech to be defeated to start spawning, to take on Mech Juicer proper. Now, the mech I plan to take down is a destroyer. The build I'm going to go for is a Daedalus Stormbow, which we can get from hallowed mimics pre-boss, with molten arrows, which we can craft loads of, given how much hellstone we have. Now, specific combination is just super good against the destroyer and should hopefully allow us to take him down in a few seconds. But again, this won't be easy though, as it also means I have to survive a few seconds against Mech Juicer with molten armor. Anyway, I'm not going to go into this with weapons but no upgrades. No, I'll need to make a few potions, and I'm also going to get some wings. So, my plan therefore is to firstly get these potions, some of which require fishing. Then I'll head to space for Souls of Flight, and hence a pair of wings. And after that, to my new artificial hallowed biome, where I'll hopefully get a Stormbow. Finally, I'd like a few accessory upgrades, principally the Stalker's Quiver, which also needs a mimic, the Corruption one, plus a Ranger's Emblem, Lightning Boots, and maybe even a Cobalt Shield. Then, finally, I'll get my hands on a spawner, which are not cheap to make. So, let's start on these potions. Now we have Shimmer, we can grow these pumpkins from the Dryad, and then shimmer them into Cactus, which opens up Swiftness and Thorns potions. That's unfortunate. What's not unfortunate though, is this lets us buy Corruption Seeds, which we'll need, firstly, as mentioned, to get the Putrid Scent for the Stalker's Quiver, also for fish for potions. Okay, let's get Hallowed Seeds as well. From what I've seen, the Hallowed has not auto-generated, so I think I'll have to make it ourselves. That's Hallowed. I realised we could have just used the Lazen blocks from spawn, but this should be fine. Perfect, well I'll leave those to marinate for a bit. Let's go fishing. Okay, so we're looking good for potions. However, we didn't get any tier 2 hard mode ores from fishing, which I hoped we would during that. So we don't have a hard mode anvil yet. I think what I'm going to do now then is head to the jungle biome and fish more. 1, to get the tier 2 hard mode ore, and 2, I'd quite like an Anklet of the Wind to upgrade my boots. I think this is for the new NPC they added. I think this got reworked. I mean, I've never used it on my fishing runs, but maybe it's worth it now. Ooh, that's new. Central item. I think this is from Dead Cells, but I'll definitely take it. That's looks more like it.
If you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll know I think this is one of the best weapons.
Nice.
Okay, so it's good we've got 11, as I don't think that's going to be enough for an orichalcum anvil. However,
If we shimmer this, that should be enough for the anvil. Nice. Okay, we are benefiting from this shimmer then.
cool, so yeah. I didn't get the Anklet of the Wind, but it took ages to get the ores, so I think I'll pause that for now.
Okay, so it's now time to get wings. I think I'll go for pixie ones. That's a Hardmode ore slime. That's the first one I've seen, so I guess they're pretty rare. So we're almost ready for Mech Juicer. The last two things I want both come from Biome Mimics. The Hallowed Mimic's Daedalus Stormbow and the Corruption Mimic's Putrid Scent. Now we got a good amount of souls from the Pixie Dust farming, so I'm just going to make a key and spawn it here. Nice. Perfect. There we go. And there the arrows. And our potions. So we just need to make some spawners and we're good to go. As I was mentioning, this spawner really isn't cheap. 15 iron bars to go isn't fun when you have to fish or kill slimes for them. Although I'm just going to check to see if something still works. Perfect, it does. That's a huge time save then, especially if this is going to take multiple attempts. All the other ingredients are pretty quick to farm. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so we want to target this crunched up bit here.
Nice. That went perfectly to plan. I mean, I'm gonna have a go. So if my calculations were right,
Yep, it gave us hallowed bars. Okay, let's go for a second attempt and try to get full hallowed armor. Then we'll wait for life fruit and then finally attempt the real thing. After taking down the destroyer in quick time again, I again decided to take the fight further. Then, well, this happened. Okay, we don't want them both in phase 2 here. Let's go for Spasmatism first. Both in phase 2? I shouldn't have done that. Well, it wasn't far off. You know, I think if I was just a bit more disciplined there and didn't get Retinator to phase 2 at the same time as Spasmatism, we maybe even got the kill there. Even if I'd got max health for even 400, again, I think we could have got it. Okay, anyway, so we should have enough bars for full hallowed armor now. Given how that last fight went, I don't think I'm even going to bother for life fruit. Okay, let's get this done. Destroy down. As I mentioned, the play here I think is to focus one of the twins now, but just one, so they're not both in phase 2. Let's go for Retinator this time. That's phase 2. Both phase 2, that's not amazing. Nice. Perfect. Okay, it should be a fairly simple finish now. Perfect. And there's the Waffles Iron, which I think is the only item exclusive to the Zenith seed. I mean, I don't think it's amazing, but we'll give it a go. You know, I've still got a few minutes on some of my buffs, so I'm kind of tempted to just go straight to the jungle now and see if we can get something from Plantera. Although, I'm not seeing a bulb. I thought they changed it to make it so one always spawns as soon as you've done the max. Maybe that's not working or not a thing on Skyblock. Never mind. Okay, so I think then, whilst I wait for the Plantera bulb, I'm also going to try and start a chlorophyte farm, plus extend the jungle for life roots. But first, that's 400. So the way chlorophyte spawns is, each mud block in the jungle has a very small chance to naturally convert into it, under certain conditions, which is what we're trying to promote here. Nice, so we've got a bulb, but no chlorophyte yet though, and it's been a while, which is a bit strange. Okay, so just checking the wiki, chlorophyte can generate sporadically, so we're not wrong on that, but it needs to be 5 tiles from a jungle grass block, which I think we're okay on. Okay, and it has to be in the lower half of the underground layer. Lower half of the underground layer. Now what does that mean on our world? I guess if the world's truly flipped, that means we should have set up our farm in the top layer of our underground layer. And that would technically be the bottom layer. Okay, so I'm not really sure what counts here, but to hedge our bets, I'm going to build a second underground jungle, but at the top, which I think could mean the bottom of our underground layer. And now we have the shimmer, we can make this a lot faster. If we put the dryad in our mushroom biome, which I'm glad is coming in handy, we can buy glowing mushroom seeds. Then if we take these to the shimmer, we can get jungle grass seeds. Ah, perfect. We've got some. I guess it must have been the heart of the jungle holding it back then. Okay, so we're not going to mine this all out. What we're going to do is take bits, split them up, and then put them back into the mud, and then AFK some more, so they continue to spread. Now I've also got a few excess life roots, so if we take some of our greater healing potions, I think we can make the new healing potion. Yeah, jungle juice, 180. I think the super's 200, so that's pretty good. Nice. So it's now time for Plantera. Now, all the worthy Plantera is a tricky fight, almost exclusively due to the pink thorns she spawns everywhere behind her, which are just a pain to deal with and do pretty high damage. My plan to counter this is to do phase 1 of the fight in our top or bottom underground jungle. This shouldn't be too tricky as we can just circle around her. Then for part 2 of the fight in phase 2 when she's faster, my plan is to drop down from my top jungle to my bottom jungle. To pull this off though, I've got to make sure Plantera doesn't enrage whilst I'm between the two jungles. So to achieve this, I'm just going to build a few blocks of jungle grass here, just so it stays a jungle biome. Perfect. So we spawn Plantera here, do phase 1, then when phase 2 comes, we drop down, controlling her speed of descent with our Featherfall potion. Okay, that plan almost worked. I think I just need to make the drop a bit longer. That's phase 1 done. Let's try and drop as slowly as possible. I think we're going to run out of space again. Let's just try going up, we don't want to enrage her. Nice. Okay, so we've got a pixel, which is normally a golem drop, plus some jungle temple bricks, and a lizard altar, so guess there's going to be no transmutation this run. No power cells though. Cool, so I guess we build a temple in the jungle and farm lizards for cells. Okay, so I think I'm going to fight Golem on the surface. He'll enrage, but from previous experience, I don't find that makes a huge difference to the fight, to be fair. Golem enraged is very different to, say, a enraged Plantera or Skeletron, for example. Also, I just want to leave this hellscape of an underground jungle. Now, from For the Worthy, Golem becomes small and inflicts darkness during the fight, which, from experience, makes them a pain to fight. Now, I can't recall if that carries over to the Zenith seed, but we'll see. I did see we were getting a darkness debuff in the temple we built, so I think it probably does. Although, just thinking a bit, I wonder if it's the temple bricks themselves that give Golem darkness, and not Golem himself. So maybe fighting him on the surface is a very good idea then. Anyway, let's see. Okay, no, he very much inflicts darkness. This is horrible. I cannot see a thing. Oh, and he's just gone. Watching the footage back, he just sort of fell off the platform. Yeah, strange. So for my next Golem attempt, I'm going to try something different, and it involves a visit to the painter. The idea is, if we coat the background walls to the arena where we fight Golem with aluminum paint, Golem becomes a lot more easier to see during the fight. Now, I didn't come up with this, but I've seen it work in playthroughs, so let's give it a go. Ah, that's a lot better. Although I don't think we've made it quite big enough. Yeah, I'm still missing his fists when he punches up. So I didn't quite buy enough paint here. Sorry if that annoys anyone. Okay, we're tanking the hits quite well. Should be a fairly simple fight now we can see him so well. Perfect. And that's our second pixel, or if we'd lost our first, I guess. No special drops by the look of it. Okay, so before we fight the cultist, I'm begrudgingly going to get a weapons upgrade. Although I must say the fact that a pre-hard mode boss item has got me to post Golem just shows how good, or you might say overpowered, the Shadow Flame knife is. But I think the cultist is just one step too far. Anyway, the item I'm going for is the Terra Blade, which on a Skyblock map is going to feel like a luxury, as I wouldn't have got anywhere near getting it on previous Skyblock playthroughs. Just the fact we have a Crimson Altar, a dungeon, etc. do just make it possible. Okay, that's a true Excalibur. Nice. And the Moonlord torso. I think that's new, right? Okay, so the final material we need is the Broken Hero Sword, a drop from Mothron, who spawns during the solar eclipse. Now we don't have to wait for one of these, as we can craft a spawner with the tablet fragments we got from farming lizards. Perfect. Ruthless, I'll take that. I think that gives more damage than Legendary. Let's get an arena set up. So the For the Worthy change for the Cultist is that he cycles through attack phases faster, which on the face of it sounds pretty benign, but I found it just to make the fight quite a bit harder. Yeah, I'm a bit rusty here. Perfect. So I've just got to the solar pillar, as I'd like to get solar fragments first, but it's spawned below the world, and also the enemies aren't spawning. Okay, first things first, if I place this here... Okay, we've got spawns at least. Oh, let's deal with them first. Okay, we can damage it at least. Let's try and be careful here and see if we can get the fragments. Oh no, my spores killed it. It doesn't look like we've got any fragments then. That's a bit sad. I mean, if we can take down the other 3 pillars and get fragments from them, then we can still get solar fragments, plus a Moonlord spawner, I think. But yeah, it kind of comes down to what's happened with the others. Nice, so this one spawned at the Shimmer Island, which is good. Actually, imagine if this was how I found the Shimmer. To be fair, that could have very well been the case. If I'd built my track for the Wall of Flesh just a bit lower, I probably wouldn't have found it. Okay. It seems like only alien larvae can spawn without blocks, which is making this pillar quite easy. This could just be a new meta. Yeah, it looks like the same has happened here. I can understand it with the solar pillar, as I guess it looks for a block to spawn near, and there are no blocks around there. But with this one, I've got blocks up here. Maybe they're too high, but yeah, don't know. This is horrifically not fun. Yeah, I kind of expected as much. So we've got no Stardust fragments as well now, which means firstly, we can't craft solar weapons, and secondly, we also can't make a spawner. So yeah, I've got very little chance against Moonlord with my current situation. I'll get into why more later. So it's looking like I'll have to try and fix these pillar spawns, and then it's back to the Cultist, unfortunately. Okay, so I forgot to record this, but I took down the final pillar, and then started and finished the Moonlord fight quite quickly. In terms of the fight, I think the chat sums it up quite nicely. See the Moon Boulder specifically, that's a Zenith seed exclusive, potentially the hardest challenge of the run. I've got a plan for it, and I'll get into that in a bit. But as mentioned, as we just have 2 types of fragment, we can't make a spawner. So before we head back to the Cultist, I'm going to place some blocks, so hopefully the pillars don't spawn in the void again. So I'm hoping just placing blocks here will solve the problem. I think they spawn in roughly the same place each time, but I'll leave some room for error. My theory is why it didn't spawn up there is that I used platform blocks and not solid blocks, which I think do have some weird mechanics around spawning. Nice, okay. Moment of truth here. I think, yeah, they've settled on the blocks. Perfect, it worked. So I was just making my way towards a pillar when I noticed this. It seems as though the roller skates also give infinite flight, even if they weren't already super overpowered, although I'm not sure if this is intentional. Nice. Okay, that's our Moonlord weapon, and I'll make a summon as well. Okay, so before I do the final pillar and spawn Moonlord, I'm going to do a few things first. Firstly, although I do love the roller skates, I'd like a mount with infinite flight for the Moonlord fight, and I believe the easiest one to get in our position is the Witch's Broom, a drop from the Morning Wood during the Pumpkin Moon event. We've got pumpkins from the Dryad, and we can get ectoplasm from our dungeon. For the Hallowed Bars, there's no need to do Medusa again, as we can just shimmer our armor. So I was just getting some ectoplasm when the mechanic spawned, which is good, so we'll need her later for our plan for the Moonlord fight. Did that pumpkin drop a golem statue? Looking at the footage, no it didn't, it just sort of appeared. I guess there's some kind of way then to get statues. Maybe it dropped from a golem somehow. Anyway, strange. Nice, there we go. So I've got one last thing to do before the Moonlord fight, and it involves putting a teleporter in my bedroom. You see, if you remember how I died last time, the Moonlord has a moon boulder attack, which he does after each phantasmal death ray. Now, these boulders are fast, unpredictable, and extremely deadly, which means we're going to do something that should hopefully completely negate their effect. This is where the teleporter comes in. Just after the laser attack, I'll teleport home, where the teleport itself and the roof of my house will block the boulders from hitting me. Then, I'll use the teleporter, which is linked back to my arena, to get back into the fight. I'll rinse and repeat this until we're into phase 2 of the battle, where the phantasmal death rays, and hence boulders, stop. And just a note here, whilst I will be teleporting back to my house, I won't be using the nurse's heal. This might not have been the best place to spawn him. Nice. That's worked perfectly. You can just about see the boulders there. Yeah, I think I really should have won that fight. Anyway, the good thing for us is, given we had to do the pillars, well, half of them twice, we can make several Moonlord spawners, so we've got a few attempts. Well that's unfortunate. I forgot that was a feature on Zenith seeds. Messed up that dodge a bit. Perfect, that's phase 2. It's getting a bit close. What a way for that to end. I forgot you die if you touch the roof on this seed. We haven't got the kill message yet though. Did we not do it? Oh no, nice. Perfect. And it looks like the treasure bag is about to fall straight into the void, which is a shame because I'd like to see if it contains anything new. Although, oh no, it's been caught. Perfect. Ooh, okay, so we do have a new thing, although it looks like a dev set there. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a Zenith or Skyblock thing, or it's just a new dev set. Either way, it's pretty cool though. Anyway, that's the run. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. You can play it for free on PC, console, or mobile right away using the links in the pinned comment or description. And if you're a new player, or an existing one who hasn't logged in for 6 months, you can grab a bonus pack on PC and console when logging in, which includes premium vehicles plus extra gear. This is only available for a limited time, so don't miss out.